very common with liberals, and a lot of them are very, very unconnected to each other. That's not a firework.
Welcome to Thoughts Uncensored. Please subscribe and stay connected with us. Just when you think violence at the CHAZ zone in Seattle is over. In the early morning hours of June 29, 2020, gunfire erupted once again in CHAZ, killing 2. Make sure to subscribe as we will have a follow-up video that will go in depth. Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best gave a press briefing earlier today. Let's listen.
First, I just want to say good morning, everyone. I want to give you a brief update about what happened in this neighborhood last night. I want to emphasize it's very early in this investigation, and the information we have is still pretty fluid, and our detectives are still working hard on the case. We responded to this neighborhood, the area known as the CHAZ, around 3 a.m. after multiple 911 calls about gunfire. When investigators arrived, they found a white Jeep Cherokee riddled with bullet holes on 12th Avenue between Pike and Pine. We were told that there were 2 men inside the vehicle and both had been shot. When we got inside the CHAZ, these men were gone. We were told that people who identify themselves as CHAZ medics transported them in a private vehicle to Harborview. Once at the hospital, one of the men, an African-American adult male, was pronounced dead. A second male, an African-American teenager, remains hospitalized. Our homicide detectives searched for the Jeep and searched the Jeep for evidence, but there wasn't much we could find. The typical things we search for in a case like this or in a shooting like this weren't there, and it is abundantly clear to our detectives people had been in and out of the car after the shooting. Detectives are trying to get information from witnesses, but as has been the case in other crime scenes up in this area, people are not being cooperative with our request for help. We are asking anyone who saw anything to call our tip line. It's 206-233-5000. At this point, we're 6 hours into this investigation, and like I said, things are fluid. We're not sure who shot at the car or why they shot at the car. Detectives are searching social media and hoping someone has information and will come forward. That's all we know for now. This is ongoing. Again, it's very fluid. It's very unfortunate that we have yet another murder in this area identified as the CHAZ. 2 African-American men dead at a place where they claim to be working for Black Lives Matter, but they're gone. They're dead now. And we've had multiple other incidents, assaults, rape, robbery, and shootings. And so, this is something that's going to need to change. We're asking that people remove themselves from this area for the safety of the people. If they care about people, they're going to have to try to help us to make it safe. Not opposed to anybody's issue or concern. They certainly can demonstrate, and peacefully any place, but they can't hostily take over a neighborhood and cause the crime levels to go up like this. 2 men are dead. 2 men are dead. And a child, a 14-year-old, is hospitalized, and we don't know what is going to happen to that kid. Enough is enough here. Any questions?
Yes. Do you think the crime scene was tainted with Q13 news? Are you intimating that the crime scene was tampered with?
Well, here I can tell you the information that I have from the detectives is that people were in and out of the car. So obviously that affects the crime scene. Who it was and what they were doing still remains to be found.
Chief, can you comment on reports that the people in the Jeep were trying to stage an attack of some kind and that CHAZ protesters were defending themselves?
I don't know. Honestly, we don't know what happened. We're still early on. It's still very fluid. What we do know is that there was a vehicle involved. It's riddled with bullets, and we have 2 people who were both affected by gunfire. How that transpired and what occurred, we'd love for anybody who had information to call us and let us know.
Was the car stolen, ma'am?
That, I don't know that information.
Do you know the stats for the normal rate of the...
If any reporter has a question, I'm happy to answer.
Chief, that's Katie with Pyro 7. Can you tell us any more about the plans to get officers back into the East Precinct?
At this point, the East Precinct, while important to us, what's much more important is that this neighborhood is not under siege and that there are not people being victimized. The precinct is a building. The precinct is a building, but people dying, rapes, robbery, assault,
What happens all
that
the
is
time.
what
Look at
we
the
need to
stats,
deal
you guys.
with. That's what we need to deal with.
They would have
What do
murdered
you
that
say,
kid
Chief? This is
14
David
times.
Douglas with NBC News. What do you say, Chief, to what protesters tell us that these barriers that were placed here by SDOT saved lives last night, stopping that vehicle?
Yeah, I don't agree. I absolutely do not agree with that. I think that is absolutely ludicrous. I'm not going to let the detractors and the naysayers and the agitators, be the ones that are the voice here. There are people who live here. There are multiple people who are being injured and hurt, and we need to do something about it. It is absolutely irresponsible for this to
Let
continue.
us help
City
protect the
Resident Seattle
streets.
Times, does anything bring you concern about the presence of private security officers who are also in the
Agitators. Call
Well,
them what they are.
I don't know that I would call them private security officers at this point. They're people walking around armed. We don't know who they are. They're self-identified. I haven't seen any certifications, anything like that.
There
So,
are a few private security officers with media
okay, well, I don't know anything about
They're
that.
about to mace my friends right now.
Okay, there might be. I just don't know
What
them.
is the next step for this neighborhood, this organized protest area, these barriers?
Last time I talked
Well,
to the mayor, she's going to coordinate with us.
absolutely, we want people to move out of the area. Continue, your peaceful demonstration in a place where you're not affecting public safety. I have said this multiple times. It is taking us 3.5 times longer to get here. We have a fire station that is less than 2 blocks from here. They cannot go into this area. We have had so many issues and problems. And, I have the police reports. People have identified as victims. We need to make sure that we are able to provide public safety. That is what needs to happen.
Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor, ma'am?
SDOT here today.
Yeah, I can't telegraph what's going to happen. I can tell you that I think enough is enough. I absolutely do.
Can you imagine going through another night here with the situation as is?
Well, I can tell you this, as an African American woman with uncles and brothers and stuff, I wouldn't want them to be in this area. We've had 2 men killed, and we have a child that's injured from gunfire. So this is a real problem. And I would question, why we would continue to allow this to happen.
Where's the mayor, man? Everybody want to hear from her.
Well, you have to talk with her people. I'm sure she's willing to talk to anybody who wants to talk to her.
Have you guys been in conversations with her about stuff recently after this?
I think everybody in city government has been talking about what we can do to have a reasonable response that limits any issues or danger. But we also recognize that a place where we have seen now 2 murders and multiple people injured, there needs to be some more action for public safety. I think everybody can agree on that.
Does this gun violence, does it hurt the movement of fighting for equality and Black Lives Matter?
Well, I absolutely think that the fact that is so rude. This is what I'm talking about. This kind of behavior is irrational and unacceptable. And so the fact of the matter is that I didn't got your question again.
My question was this gun violence hurts the movement and Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter.
well, Black Lives Matter has affirmatively stated that they're not involved in this movement. You'll have to talk to them about it, but we do know that Black people are dying, right? So I'm going to take 3 more questions, then I'm done.
Whose life matters?
No one's in custody at this time for
Black
this.
lives matter! Whose life matters? Black lives matter!
Are we good?
Tell me how to protest,
Yep.
ma'am.
Do you have a plan for your return to the precinct?
We're going to figure out how we're going to get back into this area. Mostly we're trying to make sure that we're peaceful in whatever that we do.
Man, what do you
One
say
last
to those
question, one
citizens-
last
what do you
question.
say to those
Omari.
citizens who say time is up?
Can I get my question? Thank you. Excuse me, Chief. I was here on Friday, of course, when SDOT came in. I heard the mayor talk about if SDOT comes back, that they want the police, because she said that she saw a protester pull out a gun, or that she heard a protester pull out a gun. We didn't personally see that. But
Okay.
my question to you is the police going to work with SDOT whenever they come in here and escort SDOT in? Have you guys talked about that?
I think whatever the options are, we're going to make sure we coordinate with everybody in the city. I can't telegraph or tell you the specific plans yet. In all honesty, we just have to work through that piece of it. But when we're ready to do that, we will tell you.
You've deflected every
I thank you all for being out here. I mean, I can tell you from my own perspective, we absolutely believe in the cause. We absolutely support Black Lives Matter. But, this situation, as your reporters are walking around, you can see that it can be dangerous and unacceptable. And so we're going to have to work through this. But this is not safe for anybody. Not anybody. Multiple cases, 2 murders. And it's not right. So thank you for your time. I think there'll be other times that we get a chance to talk and go over it. But, you know, as you can see, this is not an acceptable situation. Thank you.
In the meantime, we hear nothing from the mayor. This is Arthur for Thoughts Uncensored.